Back by popular demands, we've got rants and raves this week. All right, who wants to go first? I think I'll start with you, Dan, since you're right there.
Okay. We were talking about the Wall Street Journal and what a great paper it is. And I actually think that Emma Tucker, the editor, is probably the leading newspaper editor in the country right now. Well, anyway, I have a rave for this deep, deep dive that the Journal did on Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and her top aide, Corey Lewandowski.
Yeah, what's
We've
that?
heard that name before.
Hmm.
And the story reports that they may be romantically involved,
Ooh.
but is just full of fantastic details. And probably my favorite is that a Coast Guard pilot who brought her somewhere was fired for forgetting her blanket.
Hmm.
And then they had to quickly rehire him because there was no one else to fly
Fly
them
the plane.
back. I mean, it's
That-
it's
yeah,
just a disaster.
yeah, it's a good one. Can't make that up. All right, Scott, what have you got?
Oh, I have a rant. Was listening to NPR's coverage of the Munich Security Conference, and and it's fine. You know how important it is and how grave it is. And then they're going down the list of people who are grandstanding there, and I'm thinking like this is a showcase for the 2028 election. You have Rubio, you have Newsom, you have uh, AOC, and there's no mention of it. I'm like, wait a second, I must have missed something, And I went back over the transcripts, I couldn't find it. I'm like, this is, I mean, this, you can't cover something like that and also realize that there's another element to it. It's like the Davos conference. I mean, you could all just take it super seriously. They're making pronouncements about the future of the world, but it's also a big schmooze fest, and people are using it for other purposes. So that was just I didn't understand why, and maybe there's something else going on there. They're under a lot of pressure right now, NPR. So I don't know, but it really puzzled me.
Didn't mention it. All right, Lylah, what do you got?
So I have one story that is both a rant and a rave. And it's a piece in The Atlantic by Elizabeth Brunig called "This is How a Child Dies of Measles When Your Family Becomes a Data Point in an Outbreak." Super compelling. It's really well written. It's really gripping and vivid. That's my rave. The rant is for the fact that it was presented as a reported column when it's actually just really thoroughly researched fiction. There is no family that she interviewed. This is not her family, which is what makes it, the headline makes it sound like she's writing a first person. It's written in the first person. The child does not die, spoiler alert. But the article was written off of extensive interviews with lots of different doctors and health professionals who have treated people with measles. So all of the medical information in it and the descriptions of that medical information, what's actually happening to your body as measles progresses, that's all accurate. But it was written in such a way that it's really emotionally manipulative and misleading. It leans into stereotypes about people who choose not to vaccinate, making a lot of other assumptions about other parts of their lives, other things, other choices they may have made. And then I found that all of that um, seemed to really undermine the point. It could have made a really important point about the
Hmm.
horrors of getting measles, the need for vaccination, how our government is pulling people away, how there's a big resurgence of measles and what that does to a community. And instead, it went for kind of sensationalistic drama. And I ended up thinking, God, that was really well written. I kind of wish I'd never seen it.
All right, well, finally tonight, I have a rant for the Associated Press. Several days, like 4 or 5 days after that horrible shooting in Canada, where it had been well reported, documented that a transgender teen had killed his family and then went onto the campus and killed another 6 or 8 people. The AP reported a story. It was essentially a story about a father who lost his 12-year-old daughter. It was actually, once again, a really nicely written piece by the Associated Press. You come to the end of the story, and twice they refer to Jesse Rutzelaar, the shooter, as she. Okay, that's what she wanted to be called. But they never mention the fact that this was a transgender teen that hadn't gone through the entire process of transitioning. And my bigger point is that if it really had been an 18-year-old girl, that would have been a bigger story almost in the shooting itself, because for the most part, teenage girls don't go around committing mass murders. So they left out a salient fact in the report that had already been well reported, well documented. And I think it also speaks to this whole issue about why people get turned off by the mainstream media. They think they're too woke, too PC, that it was almost like they intentionally left that out because, oh, that would be an ancillary point. No, it was a critical point, and it already had been well documented, and it made me mad because it made it sound like some girl went around shooting, and that wasn't the case. So that's that.
Oh, okay. I'm going to push back a little bit, Emily. Studies show that 1 out of 1,000 mass shootings is committed by somebody who's transgender. The other thing is,
It had
uh,
nothing to do with him being transgender. The point
well,
was that they referred to the person as a she when that was not, it left out a salient point. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was a transgender who did it. It was that they made it sound like it was a teenage girl.
well, certainly her mental illness has been well documented, including in that story. She'd had major mental health problems for
Yeah.
years, and the fact that she had been trying to move toward a new gender identity for 5 years without apparently getting any treatment at all or
Yeah,
support
but whose fault
from
was
her
that?
family,
Well, the
that
family
seems to
referred
be
to him as
salient too.
him too. So
Yes, they
apparently the
did.
kid had huge issues that went well beyond being a transgender. All right, enough of that. Thank you, Dan. Thank you all. That's it for Beat the Press on Contrarian Boston. Thanks to Dan Kennedy, Scott Van Voorhis, Lylah Alphonse. See you next time. I'm Emily Rooney.